So Six Pass Sage Mode is one of my favorite techniques in the Naruto series. I mean, like, it literally took Naruto from being one of the most powerful shinobi of his era to legitimately one of the most powerful characters of all time. But Naruto already had Sage Mode, yet this ability gives him so many distinct and weird techniques. But why is that? Why is Six Pass Sage Mode so different from regular Sage Mode? Well, I think it's important to define what Six Pass Sage Mode is. It states that it's a divine transformation gifted by Hagoromo Otsutsuki. And this is technically true, as Six Pass power can simply be referred to as Hagoromo's chakra, which is the combination of Uchiha and Senju chakra. But then the question of how did Hagoromo attain such an ability arrives onto the scene. And why is Hagoromo's Sage Mode so different from regular Sage Mode? Also, how in the hell is Hagoromo able to gift someone with being able to use Sage Mode? Naruto can't give his Sage Mode to anyone else. In fact, Sage Mode, from what we know, can't just be given to any other person. Otherwise, Jiraiya could have just given his Sage Mode to Naruto, or better yet, Minato could have just given his perfect Sage Mode to Naruto as a child. Regular Sage Mode doesn't give you the ability to fly either. You don't get the ability of using true seeking orbs, the ability to negate ninjutsu or wield all chakra natures. It's also important to make a clear distinction that Six Pass chakra, or Hagoromo's chakra, is completely different from Hagoromo's Sage Mode. Hagoromo's chakra, or Six Pass chakra, refers to only the bloodline abilities he inherited, such as a massive chakra pool, the Sharingan, Rinnegan, etc. Hagoromo's Sage Mode is then what gave him the ability to utilize the true seeking orbs, the ability to fly, enhance speed and strength, etc. The question here is, well, why did Hagoromo gain all these weird and unique abilities after simply learning Sage Mode? You could simply explain it by just saying, well, he's an Otsutsuki and their powers are weird and distinct from regular human beings, which is fine, but it doesn't really answer the question, because Sage Mode is not an ability that derives innately from Otsutsuki. I know it's somewhat kind of just a filler section of the anime, but the backstory to Hagoromo and his upbringing gives a lot of important information for this theory. So 1,000 years ago, when Hagoromo walked the earth, when he was actually preparing to fight Kaguya, he needed to learn how to manipulate Sage Chakra. This was because despite how genetically powerful he was still not quite powerful enough to seal Kaguya. Thankfully, due to the all-powerful plot armor, he came across a Toad Sage who was willing to teach him Sage Mode, just like Naruto learned many years later. But he didn't learn it from just any Toad, but from Gamamaru. Gamamaru knew that a great duel was going to arrive, and that Hagoromo needed to prepare, so he had to learn how to wield Sage Chakra, or natural energy, in order to move forward. Gamamaru states that you've inherited Kaguya's power, and if you were to acquire Sage Power too, you'd definitely be able to take her on. This enhancement gave Hagoromo the necessary edge to win against Kaguya. It's also important to note that Hagoromo could initially feel the presence of natural energy despite not being trained to sense it. Seeing how Naruto could not sense natural energy but needed the help of the Sage Toad Oil, despite him being a full human but Hagoromo only being half human, half whatever alien species Kaguya is, makes one assume that Otsutsuki can naturally feel and sense natural energy. And because the chakra fruit is imbued with all the chakra from a planet, even the natural energy, then whomever eats a chakra fruit will theoretically gain at least the ability to notice natural energy. Which then moves into my theory, which is that Six Pass Sage Mode is the transformation of an Otsutsuki who can utilize natural energy. This theory is not 100% fact, but it comes from the bits and pieces throughout the Naruto story that's been compiled. Certain abilities like flight get unlocked when an Otsutsuki gets the powers of a chakra fruit, which compiles all the chakra of a planet, including natural energy, which would explain how someone like Kaguya and Ishiki could fly, but other abilities such as utilizing true seeking orbs only become present when said Otsutsuki learns how to utilize Sage Mode, which would explain how those same characters didn't get the abilities of the true seeking orbs. To kind of simplify my theory, regular Sage Mode is what happens when a regular human learns Sage Mode, but Six Pass Sage Mode is what happens when an Otsutsuki learns Sage Mode. The differences of these modes are the ones that we see throughout the series. greater strength, speed, agility, even more heightened sensory abilities, the ability to use the true seeking orbs, as well as the ability to fly if that ability was not one the individual had beforehand. It can be surmised that Sage Mode may be a transformation that reacts differently to the wielder based on their genetic wiring, which is essentially a second theory. Supporting my claim that the true seeking orbs somehow are related to Otsutsuki that can wield natural energy, Hamura obtains the ability to use a true seeking orb after Hagoromo uses the special tag on Hamura that was given to Hagoromo by Gamamaru. Gamamaru states that this special tag is infused with sage power or natural energy and is a special treasure from the land of toads. He stated that his ancestors sacrificed their lives to create it, though further details on its creation are left unknown. He states that it should be used to replenish your sage power when you don't have the time to do so on your own, and that it will revive anyone who was close to death. Because this tag was used on Hamura, it can be assumed that sage power was imbued within Hamura, and it gave him essentially a shortcut to be able to wield sage chakra. And because he is an Otsutsuki who could use sage chakra, he obtained the ability to use true seeking orbs. Now, some of you may be already saying, well, then how the hell can Obito, Madara, and Naruto utilize true seeking orbs and fly despite not being Otsutsuki themselves? Which is a good question, but it goes back to the few ways one can utilize 6-pass Sage Mode and how it is tied to those that obtain it either from Hagoromo or from becoming the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. Obito and Madara had each gotten to the stage of being the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails and were able to wield true seeking orbs and fly all after being the Jinchuriki of the Jubi. There's only so much speculation that can be done here, but based off this information, the Ten Tails really is just an amalgamation of many different types of chakra on Earth, including natural energy, making one who's able to gather such chakra be able to wield that chakra as well. Obito and Madara were only able to complete this by utilizing the 6-pass Ten Tails coffin seal technique to seal the Jubi, then become its Jinchuriki. Gaining the power of 6-pass Sage Mode does seem to be different for each person based on genetics and the way that person had obtained the ability, which can be exemplified by how Naruto and his 6-pass Sage Mode differs from Obito and Madara, because he got his Sage Mode from Hagoromo, while Obito and Madara look relatively different as well, despite utilizing the same technique to get 6-pass Sage Mode, which gives credence to the line of thought that genetics may play a role in how this mode aesthetically appears when granted. Other abilities include heightened sensory abilities to even sense beings from other dimensions, and enhance medical ninjutsu to the point of being able to essentially restore someone's life from the brink of death. The latter ability may be something that only Naruto can utilize, as he was the only one that demonstrated the ability to utilize his power, though maybe Madara and Obito just had no reason to utilize this. And a potential ability of 6-pass Sage Mode might be the creation of all things technique, though no one else has ever really shown the ability to utilize this technique besides Hagoromo, which one could assume is a technique that may be granted after acquiring 6-pass Sage Mode, but this may be unique to the person. And that's not out of the ordinary either, as another example was when Madara utilized Storm Release Light Fang, a Kekkei Genkai that he was never able to utilize beforehand, and no other 6-pass individual has been able to utilize either, which would mean this would be a unique ability to Madara as well. Last thing I'll say here to this is that yes, there's still plot holes that are derived from 6-pass Sage Mode, as people like Kaguya should theoretically be able to utilize true seeking orbs, but for some reason don't, and not learning how to utilize natural energy may not really be a good enough explanation, because Obito nor Madara are never stated to learn how to utilize Sage Mode. You know what I mean? Like, there's no information that Madara or Obito went to Mount Miyaboku or Ryuchi Cave to learn how to utilize Sage Mode, you know? But when they become the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, both of them do get true seeking orbs. Anyways, all these plot holes are getting annoying at this point. Let me know what you guys think of this theory, as it is relatively incomplete and unfortunately doesn't completely answer all the weirdness around 6-pass Sage Mode, but hopefully create some discourse around this technique and hopefully was intriguing to speculate about. Comment your thoughts down below, leave a like, and I'm gonna talk to you guys next time. Take care.